Hey everybody, welcome back to Press Play Action, Jersey Nerds Productions, Mitchell Lee, Tommy Grant, Brandon 2 coming at you as we continue the Steven Spielberg Aganza, or whatever the hell we're calling this thing. Guys, it's Color Purple and Amistad time. So this isn't really going to be a fun episode, and I'll be honest, I don't think it's going to be a terribly lengthy episode because if you look at the Steven Spielberg filmography, these aren't really the movies that stand out, but they're also not the movies that stand out, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Because they're not the ones that stand out from the perspective of, oh, that was really good. They're the ones, not the ones that stand out as in like, oh, you know, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah,
that was a bit of a
movie.
misstep.
Yeah.
These are the ones that, all right, these are movies that exist, and in some cases, they're pretty good. In some cases, they're pretty boring. In both cases, they're very long. These are both very long movies. Let's go ahead and dive right into The Color Purple. Now, Brandon and I, at least I think Brandon and I know Tommy hasn't, or maybe I'm just assuming. I don't know. Brandon and I have both seen the 2023 version of The Color Purple that came out.
The musical remake.
Correct.
The musical remake. Yeah.
Yes. And I was surprised that I did not like that movie as much as I wanted to. It got like a B for me.
Yeah.
It was a movie that I thought was pretty poorly directed, but had some good performances in it. But it really wasn't a movie that got much attention from the Oscars. Danielle Brooks got an Oscar nomination, but it was a movie that didn't really stick with me. So when I watched this, apart from, obviously there's not musical numbers, although there are some musical numbers in this because there's a good bit of this movie that takes place at a juke joint. There aren't musical numbers really outside of that the way that they are in the 2023 version. Those versions are very similar for being such drastically different versions of a movie. They are, kind of beat for beat the same, except for the musical numbers. This one being directed, of course, by Steven Spielberg. We wouldn't be talking about it at the moment otherwise. Stars Danny Glover, the most unfortunately named human being on the planet, Adolf Caesar, Margaret Avery, Ray Dawn Chong, and I don't know why she's listed so low on this list, Whoopi Goldberg and Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah, that's
probably
crazy.
the two biggest performances in this movie.
Time?
Yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg has the most screen time in the
Exactly. December 18th, 1985. This movie, $15 million budget, made $98 million and was the fourth highest grossing movie of 1985. So, what were the three movies that made more than The Color Purple domestically in 1985? And I will give you a hint. 2/3 of those movies star Sylvester Stallone.
Okay.
It was a big deal in the mid-'80s.
I'm guessing based on the time frame, Rambo, one of the Rambo movies.
We got Rambo: First Blood Part 2.
Okay.
Yeah, Rambo. I guess Terminator wasn't a thing.
Terminator's also not a Sylvester Stallone movie.
Yep, not even a Stallone movie. So what am I doing? No, you're right. Wrong actor.
Wrong non-understandable actor.
Man, what was Stallone in?
So sidestep from Stallone.
This is very obvious. I'm very disappointed in both.
What do you mean by obvious? Rocky.
There. Yeah, thank you. Yes, Rocky 4, the one where he takes on the Soviet Union. Yeah, that's the number 3. And what was the highest grossing movie in 1985?
Highest grossing movie. Was it? It wasn't Back to the Future, right?
It was Back to the Future, Brandon.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yes, that was the highest grossing movie in 1985 by a comfortable margin.
We nailed a trivia question.
Only because you spoke after I said Rambo, because I was gonna guess The Breakfast Club.
Well, no, that's also a good guess.
Or
no, it wasn't. That was number 16.
Or always fun classic Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but
yeah, I mean, it's not like we guessed the Goonies or something.
Well, the Goonies would have been a better guess than either of those two things. That was 9th.
Do this. Rocky was a miss. Okay, that was a miss for a second, but we got there. We got there. So.
Yeah, I was surprised that wasn't like the first guess. Oh, Stallone, 80s, Rocky. But good catch with the Rambo. But this was the big, like, Christmas movie. This and Out of Africa. So
I feel like they
Which
did
was
the
the-
exact
which was-
same
They're
thing.
very odd movies to come out for Christmas time.
Yeah,
which was
I
the
mean,
movie that
yeah.
won Best Picture in 1985, despite the fact that it has a rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes. Meryl
sounds
Streep
like
just
Crash.
had that kind of power over people.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds
And
like
yet
Crash.
people still hated Crash more.
Right.
This,
but
this,
okay, so
go ahead.
2023 remake was also Christmas release.
Yes, it was.
So
Yeah.
like, is it just because they're big budget movies? Let's just put them out there to the world. At
No,
Christmas
I
time?
think it's awards because
Okay.
a lot of these movies that have to deal with race and have an ensemble cast like
A
this
theme?
does,
Yeah,
they're going for awards.
gotcha.
And this got 11 Oscar nominations for the 1985 Oscars, which is more than the 2023 one got, which got largely shut out. But yeah, 11 Oscar nominations, and it did not win any of them. But it
I
got
didn't get a chance
best.
to dive into the research, but I heard that was very controversial.
That it didn't win any of them. Yeah, and that seems
Um,
controversial.
I'm not sure what the reason
Whether
for the controversy, but I read that there was some controversy.
I don't know if you agree with this take, Mitchell, but whether we like this movie or not, as a group, it probably should have won some Oscars. If we're being honest, I
Well,
kind
the
of
one
feel that
that-
way about it.
The one that I think, and I could be remembering this completely correctly, incorrectly, because I looked at this. I looked at this like a week ago. I think that Whoopi Goldberg was expected to win Best Lead Actress,
Mhm.
and then just didn't.
And just didn't win it.
And I think that
So
was
that would
surprising
be
because
my
her and
argument.
Oprah were both nominated and had a decent chance to win it. Yeah, it was
Right.
Whoopi Goldberg that was expected to win Best Actress, and she lost to Geraldine Page to The Trip to Bountiful. I've never heard of that one before.
I've never
but-
even heard of that movie. So what are we doing here? But I think that's what I was getting at. Is I can't believe Oprah or Whoopi didn't win one of those awards. Like, however you feel about the movie, I think we can just get this out of the way. Those two are very good in this movie, and their roles are very good and Oscar type roles. So
I don't know about you, Brandon, but coming as someone that is, I'm 31. So when I hear the name Whoopi Goldberg, I think The View,
yeah,
which isn't necessarily the greatest
Sister
thing to
Act.
hear.
I was gonna say
Sister
that
Act,
Um,
maybe.
Sister Act is what I think of, but The View is probably the next
yes.
thing.
But
It's probably the next
Brandon, we go back to early last year when we reviewed Ghost, which
Yeah.
was the movie that Whoopi Goldberg won an Oscar for, and she's great in that in a very different way that she's great in The Color Purple, because this was kind of her big breakout role, and she is fantastic in this movie. A lot of this movie is on her shoulders. She has a lot to do. She is front and center for a large chunk of this movie because it is a very long run time. I think that's one of my big issues with both of the movies.
Sure.
Is that both of them have balls pacing, I think. They're both very long.
They
and I
drag
think that,
them.
And I think that both of these movies do a very poor... Yeah, they drag those nuts all over the screen. I think that both of these movies do a very poor job of showing the passage of time as well, because it'll just be like, wait, how the fuck is it 8 years later? What?
I think they could have done a better job with like Danny Glover's character and like making him like look somewhat older. That was a miss for me. Like the passage of time stuff, I was like, I just didn't feel it. Like, and maybe that's the central plot of this movie is like the passage of time and like that time apart for characters and like building that tension, and maybe it just didn't come across because they didn't do a good job of kind of like making it look like that.
I
in
think
my eyes.
given that it's in both adaptations, I think maybe that's a problem with the novel, because this is based on a novel by Alice Walker. And
Yeah.
so maybe, okay, if we've gotten two separate adaptations, both with the same issue, I'm thinking maybe that's a book thing that just made its way from page to screen.
I think we would also be we'd be doing a disservice if we didn't talk about the novel and how like controversial the novel's been and how it's like been tried to get banned by multiple people. Like people have been trying to ban this book for years. And personally, I don't think the book should be banned. I think the book
I don't
should
think
be
any book should be
yeah.
banned.
I don't think any book should be banned. But I think like just the I guess the nature of the book it's a heavy topic like and this movie like it doesn't hold anything back. Like the first scene is grotesque, if we're being honest. Like it's just it's sad. Like it's upsetting.
It's
Like I was
certainly a
sitting
way to
there like,
start
oh
the
my
movie.
gosh. Yeah, I
It's
was
Yeah.
sitting there
one
going
of those
like,
topics that a lot of people are always afraid to touch,
right.
and especially in pop culture, some material does it justice and really does a good way of explaining it and showing, hey, this is wrong. Some don't. I think this was a good example of doing it in a good way.
It
And I
like
think
hits
that
you in
was,
the face, and that's what
yeah.
and it should. But yeah,
I mean,
This is a reality.
abuse is always a subject that's hard to approach, especially when you're making a movie, and especially when you have a situation that was even criticized back then, where you have a white director doing a
touching this film,
very heavy African American, content. So it's like, well, is he even doing it justice? Like, does he know enough about the context of it? But I know he worked very closely with Alice Walker to make sure that it was very, very closely adapted to the book.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
And I do think if we're just talking about the first like the opening scene, I think they do a good job of like, yeah, they do a good job of like showing you it's a difficult scene, it's a lot to process, and you're almost like what's happening, and then you're like, oh my god, like that's what happens. Like you're like trying to like piece it together while watching. Like if you don't know what the plot is, you're trying to piece it together as you're watching, and like 10 minutes in, you're like, wow, that was like a lot. But like Mitchell said, like that's the reality of like what happened to people. And I think it's good to like touch on it. And just also like the theme at which this movie touches, like it uses like letters as a plot device, which obviously the book does that. And I think actually Spielberg does a good job of that, like using the letters as a plot device. So I'll give him props for that. But I do agree with you that it drags a little bit in terms of runtime. I don't really know why. I just felt like halfway through the movie, I'm like, okay, this is a lot. Can we like move to the next?
It's a little
scene?
repetitive at points.
Right, repetitive. But maybe that's the book. Like maybe that isn't Spielberg's adaptation. Maybe that's what the book is supposed to be like.
I
This
mean,
is supposed to be like repetitive.
it follows, the character through decades of abuse. So I mean, it's gonna be
Yeah,
repetitive in that sense.
that's a fair point.
But it's kind of odd because like I was trying to compare it to other movies that Spielberg made. Like obviously the most depressing and intense movie he's made is obviously Schindler's List, which we recently covered. And I feel like that one was paced better, and I almost felt more connected to the characters. Whereas in these films, having not, you know, lived through abuse and stuff like that, I wasn't able really to connect with any of the characters. So it just kind of longer and more poorly paced.
I felt that I could connect to it once Oprah's character really started to become a focal point of that movie, and I felt the same with the remake.
The relationship, I guess, yeah.
The arc with Celie, which is Whoopi Goldberg's character, who at a young age is basically, I don't know if sold is the right word, but is basically just sold off into marriage with this much older man, and basically has to go at I mean, she was like 12, 13, something like that.
She was 14.
And has to become a mother to these kids that aren't hers, and also, an abused wife and all of that. And she has a one of her, not kids, but the kids in the house gets married to Oprah's character.
I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
gets married to Oprah's character, and her arc is a lot more sudden, whereas Seeley's takes a little bit more
it's a
time.
massive arc, like a
Yeah,
massive arc.
and she's also the most interesting, the most like you've so many characters, or not so many characters, but so much of this movie is just watching bad things happen to Whoopi Goldberg,
To this
and
character.
she doesn't have the strength to really do anything about it yet. Whereas Oprah is like, fuck you if you're not going to treat me that way. She just speaks her mind, and I think that character injects life into this story, whereas otherwise it's basically just sadness porn for a lot of and a lot of these movies, whether it's about slavery, whether it's about the Holocaust, any troubled time in history,
Mm.
run the risk of, well, let's just show it how it was, and it's basically just tragedy porn.
In
But
bleakness, yeah.
and even with Oprah's character, there's a lot of that as well. Um, but I think that character and the character of Shug Avery, who I didn't like as much in the 2023 version, but they did
Mm.
more. One of the things that Spielberg said that he had to tone down was the sexual aspects of their relationship, and he said that he regretted doing that, but that he felt that the studio wanted it that way, and that people just
It's
weren't
kind
ready to
of
see
odd
that yet.
because, well, I mean, but it's kind of odd. Like you have this touch on subject, like Ceely's character is abused. She's raped by her father, which is just absolutely disgusting. But then, like he had to tone down like the other behavior inside of the movie, and it's like you've kind of already gone to that place. I guess you didn't show it, so I guess that's like that. I guess that's where Spielberg is coming from. Is you don't like he's not trying to show that, but at the end of the day, I don't mind any of the characters. Like I don't think the movie is a bad from the standpoint of like any of the people give bad performances or anything like that. I just think it's a heavy plot and there's just a lot to parse through and there's a lot going on with Ceely's character where it's like I mean it's just hard to watch because you just see this character almost like helpless and getting abused over and over and over again and the beauty of the movie is that she I mean I guess I'm trying to like be spoiler free but like I feel like
No
people
spoiler
wouldn't
shit.
I mean people wouldn't like the movie if her character didn't come through and have this massive arc and finally stand up to people and be like actually, you know what? You're kind of being like an awful person and you should go to hell. And it's like, finally, like I wanted to stand up off of my couch and be like, thank God. Like she finally did it. I just, it's just, but it is tough to watch for like the majority of the movie, which is, I guess it's just hard for me to describe. Like, it's just a tough watch. And like, I don't think that makes it like bad, but I don't think it's like an all time classic movie personally. I do think it's really, really good, and I do think it's like directed really well, and I do think the performances are great. Like you said, Whoopi is, I mean, she's awesome, and Oprah is awesome. And honestly, I like Danny Glover. I don't know how you guys feel about Danny Glover's performance, but
I
I kind of liked his
really
performance.
It takes a lot for me to say that I think that you were better than Coleman Domingo, because I just love Coleman Domingo as a
Yeah,
performer. But I think I liked Danny Glover more than Coleman Domingo.
I don't know what he did,
Can't
but
go
it
wrong with
just
a little
felt
Danny
good.
Glover in a movie.
Yeah, so my whole childhood of Danny Glover is like watching him in Angels in the Outfield and being like the
Yes.
manager, and like
Yep.
that's all I could like think about when I first like saw him. I was like, wait, how is this guy gonna pull off this character? And then he was like mean and stern, and then he starts getting like physical, and I'm like, oh, like Danny Glover's like going for it. Like
Him and Coleman
I like
Domingo are
this.
also just like big dudes.
True, that's a good point too. They are
And
big
then
guys.
they feel like big physical presences. So when they get pissed, you definitely like this little 14-year-old girl, like
I
what's
mean,
she gonna do about this?
Celie and her sister are going through the house, like practicing their spelling and reading, and like you could just see on her face like the frightened nature when she saw Mister and was like, Mister, Mister, and it was just like this guy's about to beat her. Like I don't know. Like Danny Glover just did a great job. And I don't know how he feels about the role. I guess I didn't look into that enough. But this has got to be one of those roles for him where it's like he sometimes plays the mean, stern like person. But like Tommy in Angels in the Outfield, he like ends up adopting those two kids. Like he ends up being like a nice person.
He was a sweetheart.
Right, a sweetheart. And like in this movie, he's like not a nice person at all. He's a person who's like the devil and should go to hell. Like, I mean, that's just who he is. So it's very interesting dynamic, I guess, watching him on screen when my like most of my childhood is just like, oh, that's Danny Glover. He's like an awesome character in the end of the movie. Like that's not what this movie is at all.
I'll be spending the rest of the week blocking out those scenes so I can remember Danny Glover as a happy person.
Right, as the person that goes, that's God's thumbnail. Or no, yeah, I just would rather remember that Danny Glover. I was also going to say, Mitchell, I think you and I have had like differing opinions on Danny Glover in the past in like movies. Like you did not like him in Proud Mary, and I thought he was good in Proud Mary.
Well, I didn't like anything in Proud Mary, so
yeah,
it makes sense.
Well, yeah, that's a really good point because I actually thought Proud Mary was awesome. But the point is
forgot that movie existed.
Yeah, no, the point is that Danny Glover, like, I don't know, I think he gives something to the movie where it's a really great performance, and I think the dynamic between him and Celie is like felt throughout the movie, and I don't think this movie works if those two aren't good. Like this movie does not work at all if those two aren't good. So I'm glad it was like a great performance by both of them. And like I said, I was kind of surprised like it didn't win the Oscars because it just felt like it should have got something at least. Whether we feel about the movie or not. I guess do we want to like transition to like the end of the movie and like how we feel about it in the grade? The ending is kind of nice. I like the ending. After all this sadness and all this abuse going on. I did find it I was still confused. Can y'all help me wrap my head around this? How did she find her son Oliver? Like what did her sister do to find Oliver? Wasn't he like living in Africa? So like how did that work? I was very confused by that whole part of it. Maybe I just missed something, but I was very confused by that whole sequence.
Didn't they just like find? Well, no, they did that before they went to Africa.
Oh, before they because
yeah.
he was
they
speaking
didn't meet
like
Oliver
African.
in Africa.
No. I think she like found him from Africa because he was speaking like African. Was he not?
I believe it was her sister came back from Africa with the kids and found her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So she just randomly found her kids in Africa? And I should say they weren't speaking African. They were speaking some African language. African is not a language, so I'll correct myself on that. That's not a language. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out like so she went and found her kids and then brought them back and then found her after all this time she couldn't find her in the first place and was like, I'm just gonna send you letters for years and years and years. It was just a very weird wrap up, but maybe I just am not wrapping my head around how this movie comes together, I guess. It's okay. We don't have to like talk about it that much. It was just a very weird ending to me personally.
It'll probably be better if we just actually read the book and understand it better that way. But
yeah, you know what? I'm gonna read the Spark Notes version of the book, and then I'm gonna figure it out from there. No, I'm just kidding.
No, don't Spark Notes that. Read.
I'm kidding. I think I've read like half of the book, and then I stopped reading it.
Be a cultured person and read the book.
I think I remember picking up the book and definitely reading like half of it, and then I just stopped because I was like, I can't do this. Like this is too much. But like the movie, I don't know. The movies do a good job of like at least taking you through it. Like you said, it's a tough topic to like touch on, and it's a tough like topic to get on. And we'll talk about with Amistad, but like also a tough topic to like talk about.
Well, let's grade this one before we dive into that one.
Yeah.
Brandon, you want to kick us off?
I guess I'm higher on this movie than both of you, probably, from what it seems like. I like the ending, even though I need to figure out how it ended and wrap my head around that.
You didn't figure out how it ended. Did you not watch the movie?
No, I watched it. I'm Okay, so can I just get this out? In the 2023 remake, I feel like there was a better explanation of how the kids got there and like what happened. And in this movie, I feel like there was just no explanation. It was just like, oh, I'm back, and it's like, oh, by the way, here's your kids, and it's like, what's going on? Like,
You are
I
very
just,
hung up on that detail.
maybe okay, but like, if I'm gonna sit there
Where
for
are these damn kids?
Mitchell, if I'm gonna sit there for 2.5, if I'm gonna sit there for 2.5 hours, I kind of want like the ending to be succinct and wrapped up. But okay, I am giving this a B, 34.5. I just think I like this movie a lot based off the performances. Danny Glover, Whoopi Goldberg, Oprah, and even Suge Avery's character is very good. So yeah, give me a B 34.5.
I give it a C plus 90.
Okay.
It just wasn't a movie for me. The quality of movie was there, but it's when I watch movies, these are not the stories I want to watch. I try to watch stories to escape the harsh realities of life. So watching a movie that's just pretty much all about, racism, sexism, abuse, not really something I want to watch for 2.5 hours. And that's really dropped the grade for me because it just wasn't something for me.
Mm.
Wow, so I'm the one that liked this movie the most, actually.
You giving
I'm
this a
gonna
B
give this
plus?
movie. I give it a B plus and like a high B plus, a B plus 89.83. I think that the performances were phenomenal. The story is good, and I think that it also, the longer that I was with the movie, the more I enjoyed it. Maybe it Stockholmed me a little bit, where I was like, all right, I'm in this world, let's get it. Like I'm with this journey that these characters are on, and I definitely liked this one more than the 2023 version.
When Seeley tells him off, Mitchell's standing there like, yes, yes, we're in it.
See,
Like
no,
let's go.
I was more with Oprah, where I'm just laughing the whole time. Like, I've been waiting on you to say this shit for years. Like,
I need
that
you
was
to
the
say that.
most relatable reaction ever. Was just Oprah sitting at the dinner table, just
I,
laughing her ass off.
I'm not giving Mister any excuses because being a terrible person is being a terrible person. But his dad is also just like a despicable human being.
Well, yeah,
Like,
Adolf Caesar. Yeah.
yeah,
By the way, this movie features. I'm sure that you guys noticed Larry Fishburne,
yeah,
credited as Larry Fishburne as
Larry.
opposed to Lawrence Fishburne, which
He did
I
a good
always just
job.
find that funny. Not a big role for old Larry, but
Yeah.
good for what he had to do. All right. I'm going to be asking you guys to carry a lot of this one because I don't really
Wow.
have much to say when it comes
I
to our
saw
next
your
movie.
letterbox review and I was like, if you feel that way about it, sure.
That would be Amistad. Again, directed by our guy Steven Spielberg. Morgan Freeman, Nigel Hawthorne, Anthony Hopkins, Jimon Hansu, Matthew McConaughey. All right. In this one,
Can we
this
introduce Matthew as that every single time?
every single time he should have done it for Interstellar. $39 million budget, and this made $58 million. So this was not a
Okay.
very popular Steven Spielberg movie. This came out the same year as The Lost World Jurassic Park. So Steven Spielberg really
Oh.
didn't feel like giving us
It
his
was a
best
flop
work
year.
that year.
He,
He'd Saving Private Ryan coming the
yeah,
next
he
year,
was
so he
Saving
wouldn't
Private
be.
Ryan. He probably had Saving Private Ryan like in his head. He was like formulating it ready, you know.
Yeah. So again, December 10th, 1997 is when this one came out. 2 days later, a movie that would make over $100 million domestic, that was chosen by most audiences over Amistad, would come out. What movie was that?
Men in Black?
No, that's a summer movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Because remember, Will Smith used to own the 4th of July holiday. That was, yeah, that was
Good
that.
point. Good point.
It was a sequel.
A sequel.
It came out in July, you said?
No, December December 10th was when Amistad came out. 2 days later, this sequel came out, and audiences kind of left Amistad in the dust to go see this instead.
Ooh, Scream 2.
You got it, Scream 2.
Scream
Which
2.
fun fact?
What a dichotomy of
is-
movies at that time.
Really is. Which fun fact is the only Scream movie I have not seen. So I'll have to get on that at some point.
Rainmaker also
Perhaps
in
it's
this.
October.
Rainmaker also in this year. So
Hey. Also, yeah, December. Also, hey, what came out the week before Amistad? Good Will Hunting. So, if you wanted
not
a fantastic
Matthew McConaughey.
movie, Matt Damon.
Yeah, Matt Damon was on a kick then. If he's got the
Yeah.
Rainmaker and Good Will Hunting, going
Good
around.
stuff. This movie was produced by HBO Pictures, and
Home
it
box
kind
office.
it kind of
us the-
feels like this was meant to be. Hey, maybe it got caught in between. Should we make this an HBO miniseries, or should we make this a feature-length film?
Yeah,
And
yet
they
it's
just
not
kind of
featured
ended
on
up.
the fucking HBO app. Explain that to me.
Yeah,
I think they just wanted it
HBO
gone. They just didn't want it on their stuff. Which
Really?
I guess so. I mean, well, okay. So, let's just start there. This should have been a miniseries.
Yep.
Okay.
Good night, everyone. I was
6 hours. 6 hours. Hour episodes. 6 episodes.
I mean, it's not like
Probably.
HBO hasn't done good historical miniseries before. You know, I think that this would have lended itself more to that, given the way they chose to tell the story.
Yep.
And the fact that it's kind of like a legal procedural, like that's kind of a good type of
I mean, they literally
story
did
to throw into a miniseries rather
they
than
did the miniseries show. They did John Adams.
yeah.
They have it. They have the playbook
Yeah.
there.
I forgot that they did that show. I was
Oh,
thinking
it's a
of
great-
John
it's a great-
Adams, but
it's
no,
a
they
great
did John
show.
Adams.
It's a
Yeah,
great
I've heard
show,
nothing but
yeah.
great things.
So, yeah, they
They're
have
like,
the
we
playbook.
we have that coming in a few years. We can't make two John.
We can't make two John Adams,
yeah,
Steve.
we got John Quincy Adams, and no, we can't be confusing people.
I mean, where do y'all want to start? Because I will say again, the opening scene of this movie, very
Brutal. I didn't know what this movie was about before I went into it. I knew it
Same.
had to do with race and like
Yeah,
slavery, but I didn't know what it was about. So once I realized it was a courtroom drama, I was very surprised by that, and I felt like a courtroom drama that's 2.5 hours, you gotta have some fantastic characters to make that work.
Yeah.
Right?
I think you also
Like-
just gotta tell it differently. Like you gotta.
I don't know how good or how long A Few Good Men was, but A Few Good Men flies. I was telling Tommy beforehand,
Yeah.
this movie made me, the day after I watched this, I went and I rewatched The Lincoln Lawyer, because Matthew McConaughey as a lawyer, and wow, that's a movie that's more concise, has better characters, and is 30 minutes shorter.
Yeah. A Few Good Men, 218.
And I think that's also because the fact that those were more fictional legal movies, whereas this was obviously, off of real events. They're probably trying to stick more to the
And real
trying to stick to
events
the facts than
and real events in a courtroom drama, you know what that means? That means it's more boring.
Yeah.
It means that it has legal precedent, or not legal precedent, historical precedent to follow.
So, the problem with making this a courtroom drama, and then like making it true to the story, and I don't even know if they did that too, because to be quite honest, they probably fudged some stuff on the sides. I mean, this is like the landmark case of like property of slaves.
Yeah.
So there was no like legal precedent for like what was happening. So it's hard to tell a story where there's like no precedence. Whereas like in Lincoln Lawyer, you can be like, oh, because of article this, and this, and this, like this is why my client, like like I feel like you can use the precedence of like the story to like push it along. Whereas like I feel like they were trying to show you all of these different like avenues and different things, and there was multiple people that were trying to claim these slaves. Like they were trying to get them, and that was also like a bogged down thing. Like you had at least five separate entities trying to claim that these slaves were their property, which is just insane for me to think about. But that's how they like thought about this. Was like, no, they're mine because they were on my ship, and it's like, well, all the people that your leaders got killed, so technically they're not yours anymore. They're like the U.S. government's, and then it's like it's not the U.S. government, it's the Spanish government, and it's just like I it was a lot like, and I think that's what bogged it down. I think it's just a lot of different angles and a lot, and they tried to show all of it basically. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but that's kind of how I feel about it. It was a lot of different angles, and they tried to show like every single angle, and it was like,
It was a very different type of story. I mean, especially the fact that this was made several years after Schindler's List, which I think is probably Spielberg's like masterpiece when it comes to just
yeah, that's his magnus opus.
like oppression of people. And this obviously is a very different type of oppression, but you literally have people fighting over, are these people, do these people have the right of freedom? Like the fact that that was even something that was discussed, let alone a
It's
major
crazy.
major court case, is insane. And it's definitely a story worth telling, which I think is why it was more focused on the facts rather than trying to make it more Hollywood-esque, because you want to show respect to the actual people, because this was a real event that happened. And that's why I think it was a little bit more dry compared to other legal movies that you get, because they're more focused on making it Hollywood and having these defense attorneys come up with these crazy arguments and really charismatic arguments that they give. And I feel like that would have been perfect for McConaughey, because McConaughey's just got that kind of personality that just when he talks, you're just like, oh, that's perfection. But you don't get that in this movie, and I think that's part of what brings it down a little bit for a lot of people, including myself, because I found myself very bored in it. But
Yeah.
again, it's not a movie that's really saying, "Hey, entertain me." It's more of a inform me kind of movie.
So what's crazy is the lead, Sinke. Um, he's like a very well-known actor. And was this like his big break?
McConaughey?
No, not McConaughey. Hansu.
Uh,
Um,
no,
I think his big break, like,
I think it was
yeah,
his
this
original
might have
role.
been it, but I think the one that really got people to like know who he was, I think, might have been Gladiator. I know that came a little bit later,
Okay, yeah, that's
but
because if you look at his filmography, like he is in a ton of films. Like
Yeah,
he's had a really good career. So this is like the first movie he's in, like big movie, I guess. I guess he's in Stargate, right? But Stargate's not
I
that.
don't think he had a giant role in that. Again, I've never seen that movie.
Yeah.
I know he got an Oscar nomination for Blood Diamond in 2006, which is an awesome movie. But yeah, he doesn't have as much to do in this as I thought that he might. Maybe I'm just used to Jemon Hansu being the guy that yells, because he's a
Maybe
very loud actor, and he has some of that in this movie, but a lot of it
he's already
he
in a
isn't.
movie that we reviewed recently. He was in How to Train Your Dragon 2.
That's right, he
He's
was in
right,
How
he's
to Train Your
Drago.
Dragon
He's
too.
Drago in How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Yeah, guy that yells.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you just look at his like list of movies he's been in, like he's been in a lot of movies, and even like shows too. Like it's really impressive, like the work he's done. But when I guess I'm with you, like he's he's the main character, but not the main character. And also, can I point this out? I guess he like initiates the like mutiny on the ship, right? Like the slaves revolting, but they choose to tell the story through like his experience rather than all the other slaves. They like focus on his experience, and I find that kind of interesting because wasn't the court case about all of them, not just Sinke? Maybe I'm wrong about that. I mean, At the end, like I think it is about Sinkei, but like it's like I'm
Yeah,
not
it
really
definitely feels a little
sure.
bit more contained,
Yeah,
which
it's
I
about
understand.
him.
I understand why they did that, but also if you wanted to use that 2.5 hour runtime to get to know more of the slaves on that ship as opposed to
Then do that.
the courtroom stuff, and Morgan Freeman's technically the lead of this movie, but I feel like I don't know him at all.
Yeah.
Like,
So they like touch on his background like a little bit. Like whatever. I don't even know if it was John Quincy Adams. I think it was another politician. Is like, so where are you from? And he's like, Georgia. And it's like, okay, so think about how you like feel about like all of this. And it's like okay, now we get like a glimpse into Morgan Freeman's character, but like
but nothing
we
more
don't
than
go
that.
there. Yeah, we don't go
Yeah.
there. Like yeah, so I don't know. That's my like biggest critique about this movie, is if you're going to make it 2.5 hours, then like go there, go places with it, and don't just like touch on a bunch of different stuff and leave me going like, you almost got there, and then you just like went with another angle, and then you like jump to another angle, and you jump to another angle, like stick on one thing almost. Which again, I think this should have been a mini series, and I think that's like the overarching theme here, is it probably should have been a mini series.
See,
Um,
there's a slave movie that we'll get. We won't do a ton of them, but there's one that we'll get to down the line. I bet in 12 Years a Slave,
yeah.
which I think is a phenomenal movie. But a lot of that is also because you get to know the main character so incredibly well. You
Mhm.
feel for him so much. And with this, I don't think we really got to know anyone particularly well.
No, I
And
think that is a problem.
you're with people for a long time, but it just kind of feels like you're watching Matthew McConaughey and Morgan Freeman rather than you're watching the characters that they're supposed to be playing.
Yeah, I don't have a lot else because I mean at this point I'd
No.
just be like spoiling the plot. But best performance,
I'd probably go Anthony Hopkins.
okay. I think his monologue at the end, or his like defense at the end as John Quincy Adams, is the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
It just comes with like 20 minutes
Very
left,
late. Yeah.
very late.
It just comes with the name John Adams. You just know you're going to get a star performance out of it.
That's a really good point. Well, I mean, even in the
And Anthony
monologue,
Hopkins is a great actor.
Anthony Hopkins is like giving that monologue, and he's like, and then he like looks at his father's like bust, and he's like, he like pauses for a second. I'm like, wow, that was like really good use of like timing and like knowing when to like pause. Like I just don't know if other actors would be able to like do what he did. It felt natural, but it was also like it was supposed to be in the movie almost. Um, yeah, I think McConaughey and him are like 1A 1B. I would give it to Hopkins. I think the defense, the monologue, where is a very good. I think it's the best part of the movie. So yeah. Actually, I honestly think people should just skip. Like, if you really don't want to watch a 2 hour movie, just skip to that like scene. Find that scene online and just watch it. Whatever. It's a good scene. Um, yeah, I don't know.
You want to grade it?
I feel like the movie should have been made. I don't know. But I just wish it was a miniseries. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel about it. Yeah, I'll go ahead and grade it. I guess I'm higher on the movie than most people. I don't know. I'm giving it a B plus, 25.3.
Oh wow.
I like it. Maybe that didn't come across when we were reviewing it, but there's not a lot to talk about unless you just start spoiling the plot and being like, these people are fighting for these slaves, and then these people come over the top, and it's like, so I'd be spoiling the plot at that point. So I'm gonna say that I really like the performances, but it wasn't like I totally understand if someone else has a different opinion of this movie and it's being slow and too slow for them to like get behind. I do think this would be like an A plus miniseries if it was done well. So I kind of do hold that opinion.
This another one. It's going to be in the C plus range at like 70.
Consistency.
Yeah. It kills me to put it that low, but it's purely because it just did not interest me. but like I love the cast. I mean,
The cast is good.
you have like some like the best. I want almost want to say most charismatic speaking actors between McConaughey, Hopkins, and Freeman. Like those are like three of the most like unique voices in
Yeah.
Hollywood, and you have all three of them in a movie together, basically giving dialogues. Like
Yeah.
on paper, like it's almost perfect, but it bored me to tears.
Yeah. Add in Hansu, add in Hawthorne, add in Skarsgård. Like it's a good cast. It's a good
Yep.
cast.
So
Well, I get to be the bad guy here, I suppose.
Well, based off
I
your
gave-
letterbox review, understandable. What I'm about to
Which,
say.
by the way, on Letterboxd, I have this as a C, 41.87%, but my Letterboxd review said, "Yeah, I can't lie. This one felt like a movie you watch in history class that goes on for 50 years." It's that one that your history teacher puts on for 25 minutes at the end of class and
And then you
seemingly
start
does
it for
that
the
every
next.
day for 2.5 months.
Oh, see, I was thinking like they split it between two classes. They're like, we're gonna watch Amistad for two classes,
No,
basically.
it's one where like your teacher kind of forgets about it, and then like 3 weeks later, it's like, wait, we're watching this again. Like I forgot where we were at.
the class like protests, "Hey, we never finished the movie because we don't actually want to do classwork." But then we turn the
then
movie
once-
on, and we're like, "Oh, wait, this isn't good."
Everyone's
Never
like,
mind.
"Oh, fuck, I gotta stay awake." Damn it. Yeah,
There's
that's-
gonna be a quiz on this. Yes.
This is one of those
It's-
movies you
yep.
have to have with the lights on in class, otherwise you fall asleep.
yeah.
Maybe the reason I have a B plus is I like the history aspect, but I'm a history guy, so I like the courtroom.
Yeah, but I know that Tommy is as well.
I'm
so
a big history buff, and I love learning about.
Did you know about the court case?
No, this was all new. to me.
Same. I was
Again, it
surprised
was
I didn't know about this court
On
case.
paper, this was an awesome movie, but the pacing, everything, it just bored me to tears. And
Yeah.
so it is what it is. I mean, if you're into legal movies, this is a great one. But people like me who hate watching legal movies, it's not going to be for me.
Well,
Fair.
next week we continue on with the true story of Peter Pan and how he wished to stay a kid forever. And if you think that's a true story, you're dumb as hell. Hook and the BFG.
I've got
again,
an Easter
too,
bunny. And it's-
inspired by a
sorry.
true story. Yeah.
If there's kids listening, I'm not gonna keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're a kid and you're listening to this, your parents are dumb as a motherfucker. But why are you listening to this? What does this have to do with you?
You know what, Mitchell? I wish we could live in a world where Robin Williams was still alive and could live forever, because it would be a happier place.
Yeah, it would be.
Oh,
happy.
I thought you were gonna say, I wish we could live in a world where kids could listen to podcasts about slavery, and I was gonna say, what the hell's wrong with you? No, next week much more child friendly with Hook and the BFG. I've seen the BFG before, and I'll just say that my expectations are very, very low, because I did not enjoy that movie even a little bit. I
Man,
fucking
it's like you don't
fucking
like
hated that
Spielberg.
movie.
It's like
No,
man,
I love
Spielberg.
I love Spielberg, but Spielberg had his ups and downs, and the BFG definitely hit him on the way down. But Hook, I've heard some good things. I've heard some, I don't want to say bad things,
He's never
but
seen it.
Have you
I
never
think-
seen Hook?
no, I've never seen Hook.
I had never seen it either. So I was
Yeah,
spoiler. I'll just go ahead and tell people on the podcast. I've already seen it.
don't
in
tell us what you
preparation
think.
For more, I'm not gonna tell you what I thought, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I've never,
I
I've never
was
seen Hook.
surprised I hadn't seen it either, and I was like, I think same with BFG. I don't think I've ever seen BFG. But
Yeah,
I've read
I
the
think
book.
I asked
love
if you wanted to go
BFG.
see, because BFG was around the time
Well,
that we were
that's more of
seeing
the
movies.
Mitchell, you know why I didn't go see it? Because I was like, Roald Dahl is like my favorite author, and they're gonna ruin
gonna-
this movie. So
Oh, well,
you know.
Prepare to have your heart broken, son.
Oh, well,
But yeah, that'll wrap things up. We'll talk to you next week about those true life movies. Goodbye now.